everybody. I wasn't sure anybody'd stop back at the workshop after yesterday's workshop video, but I'm glad you did, and glad you're going to spend a little time hanging out in the workshop today. Got a few projects, so why don't we get started? Oh, hey, before we get started, you want something to drink? You want a bottle of water, pop or something? Okay, let me get you one. Here you go. I got an idea on that fox pelt that we started yesterday. It's not finished yet, but I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to take part of that pelt and make a bag out of it, a small bag. Kind of like this one here. This is one that I made with, it's a raccoon, and it was Dixie tanned also. And there you got it. And then the back side is some brain tan deer. And then the flap goes over, and there's a little toggle that holds it in place. I'm kind of thinking that's what I'm going to do with the fox when it's finished, when it's ready. It'll look something like this. Here's another fox I got, red fox, and I think the brain tan and the red fox will go well together. I got just enough of this leftover remnant of a deer hide, I think, to make a small bag. So that's what we're going to do with the fox when we're finished with that. Got about a half a day left to let that first coat soak on it. And then we're going to scrape that off, and we're going to put another coat of the Dixie tan on and let that sit for a couple of days and scrape that off and then finish the process. So hopefully within, I don't know, maybe 3-4 days we'll have that finished and we can start working on making it into a little belt bag. So that's the plan for the fox. Here's another little bag, little neck bag. This was made out of a gray squirrel, and this was Dixie tanned also. It's got the brain tan deer on it. You know, a little strap goes around your neck. I keep a fire kit in this one, so I'm thinking that red fox should look nice with the brain tan deer. So we'll work on that next time in the show. Thought I might today start trimming down these turkey wing feathers, start chopping them into fletching for arrows. You know, this stuff takes a lot of time, but if you're not rushed, it's a fun project. I enjoy doing it. It's just I always seem to be rushed. So today I'm going to work on some of these here. My friend Billy, he's a heck of a turkey hunter, and he gave me a pile of wing feathers over the years, and I'll show you how we do them. What I like to do is I like to split the quill here. Now there's a lot of different ways of doing these, but take a sharp knife and split that quill. Some of them split better than others. Now there's other ways of trimming your feathers. They make these little choppers here, different various style feathers. This happens to be a shield cut, different lengths. You put your feather in this little jig here and get yourself a rubber mallet or something like that. Hit it and it chops it. They make feather burners, scissors, a knife. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I like trimming them with a knife, especially when I'm making this style feather. I don't have a jig for this style. It's just straight cut. These are going to go on some primitive style arrows. So anyhow, that's a project for today. I got a bunch of those feathers that Billy gifted us, so they keep me busy for a while out here. The cresting on an arrow. You know, some of these arrows, they got some just beautiful cresting jobs. They're done with a cresting machine, and they look great. I mean, the lines are all nice and even and everything. The problem that I have with this type of cresting is when it is on a primitive arrow, an arrow that's supposed to look like it was created way before there were cresting machines and such. So what I found that works pretty good for me, and it's a personal choice. Everybody's got their own arrows and their own way of making them, but this is what I started using for the cresting on my primitive arrows. And I found these at a art supply store, and they're a real thick paint, and it looks a lot like some sort of pigment mixed with hide glue, and when you paint it on, I paint it on by hand without a machine, and it gives you this look here. I kind of like it. Just something I started doing. And now, of course, you could take arrow making to the extreme and come up with your own pigments and your own mixtures of paint and everything. But this is just kind of a quick way of giving it that primitive look on your arrow. Gotta admit, I got a bit of a compulsive attraction to axes. That's not as crazy as it sounds. There's other guys out there that get the same problem. I just can't pass up when I see these old axes in a barn sale or a flea market or wherever, and you can get some really good bargains on these. Usually they're in rough shape. Usually they're in very, very rough shape, but most time they can be saved. The handles, you usually got to replace those, and that's where it gets a little expensive. Is a store-bought handle, it's 15, 20 bucks. So I started with some of these heads. I started working on making my own handles, and it's a lot of work. I mean, you want to save some work, go buy the $15, $20 handle at the store. But this one here, this is a B&B axe, and it's a real nice little axe, little camp axe. And this handle here I made, the head I cleaned up and rehafted it to this handle here, and like I said, there's other people that got got the same attraction to axes, and I found one of these guys on YouTube. His name is Buckin' Billy Ray, and he's got a great channel. And I thought I had a lot of axes. I thought I had a lot of axes, but Buckin' Billy Ray, he's got me beat by a mile, and he's doing kind of like what I'm doing, restoring, refurbishing is probably a better term. A lot of these old axe heads, and it's a fun project. Probably the worst condition axe I ever refurbished was, I got to show you a picture of it. Our friend Dino, who's out in the field a lot, and he found this old axe head in a stone wall someplace up north, and it was in rough shape. You could tell this thing had been out in the weather for decades and decades. And he showed it to me. He knows that I got a little problem with axes, and he showed it to me, and he was gonna make it, a paperweight out of it or something, just a conversation piece. And I asked him, I said, hey, can I take that home and see what I can do with it? Yeah, sure, Brian, take it. So I took it home, and I wasn't sure where to start with it. I started with a wire brush, and then flap sander, and I had it soaking in some Evaporust for a while, and after considerable work, I got it back into usable condition. I put a new handle on it for him. Now, it's got some pitting, as you can see in the pictures, and I wasn't sure the integrity of the axe. It had been out in the weather for a long time, and I warned him. I said, it might chip or break. Well, he has used the heck out of that axe, and he's still using it, and he said he uses it almost every day, and it's still holding up. So it's kind of satisfying when you take something that's been neglected and probably is going to get thrown out, and put it back in service. Well, that's about it for projects in the shop today. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate the company. We're gonna probably not be in the shop for a few days because the weather's starting to improve. We're gonna go out and do some late season muzzleloading hunt for white-tailed deer. So until next time, everybody, take care. Thanks for stopping by. Keep on trucking.